Now, at 11, curfew extended, but you can still go to Monday night's Browns game. Laura Queso reports on today's coronavirus announcements from Governor DeWine. Also, 3 News investigates.
That I might freeze to death because they're going to cut my power off.
Rachel Polanski on the tens of thousands who could have their utilities shut off as moratoriums come to an end and ways they can get help. Special delivery.
You know, they're very pro-business.
The local city stepping up to help restaurants stay afloat through the pandemic. And Happy Hanukkah.
Way back in the day, the Jews of Jerusalem had this gorgeous temple, and it got completely destroyed.
On this first night of celebration, a special history lesson on the origins of the Jewish holiday.
From the WKYC studios, this is What's Next.
Good evening, I'm Russ Mitchell.
And I'm Sarah Schuchman, and tonight, a major step forward in the COVID-19 vaccine in America.
Pfizer's vaccine today got a thumbs up for emergency use from an independent panel. It now awaits approval from the full FDA, which could come tomorrow. That vote was 17-4 with 1 abstaining. Those 4 against, I should say, saying they wanted to see more data on effectiveness among 16 and 17-year-olds. This comes after the committee spent all day scrutinizing data, which indicates the vaccine is 95% effective and safe. Once the FDA approves, vials of the vaccine will ship to all 50 states. The first doses could arrive on Monday.
This comes at a critical time for Ohio and the nation. There were 11,738 new COVID-19 cases in the state reported today. Just for some perspective, a month ago today, we had 6,508 cases, and at the time, that was a record. The city of Cleveland just reported one of its worst days as well, with 426 more cases. As COVID cases continue to surge, Governor Mike DeWine extended the state's curfew into the new year. And not only that, but he and a team of doctors announced new protocols for the next 21 days. Laura Queso explains what this means for you.
The next 3 weeks will really be the most important 3 weeks for all of us in this pandemic.
Governor DeWine says what we do in the next 21 days will set the tone for next year. It can go 2 ways, good or bad, because right now hospital ICUs are filling up.
Therefore, when an ICU is more than 80% full, it's considered to be very busy. And when a very busy ICU has filled more than 1 out of 5 of its beds with just 1 diagnosis, COVID-19, there may not be room for patients with other conditions.
It's the reason why Governor DeWine announced 2 important points that will affect you. 1, he's extended the state's 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew until January 2nd, 2021. 2nd, with the help of 12 doctors, he announced Stay Safe Ohio protocols. Stay at home, wear your mask, keep interactions short and stay apart. Wash your hands, work from home if you can, celebrate safe and celebrate small, don't eat or drink with anyone outside of your household, limit travel, keep weddings and funerals safe, and enjoy safe holiday activities. The protocols come as 5 Northeast Ohio counties remain on the state's highest COVID alert level: Medina, Portage, Richland, Summit, and Stark. They are the only counties in the state at this level.
We cannot afford, on the very eve of a safe and effective vaccination, to further overwhelm our hospitals and healthcare providers with a holiday tsunami.
And going back to the extended curfew, I want you to know this will not affect Cleveland Browns home games, including next week's matchup. The state issued a variance that applies to events like Browns games. The governor said the risk from these games is not fans at the stadium, but those gathering inside to watch without following protocols. Laura Queso, 3 News.
And as the pandemic continues to take its economic toll, many now find themselves against a hard deadline before their utilities are shut off. Several moratoriums have either ended or will end soon. In a 3 News Investigates collaboration, Rachel Polanski takes a look at what can be done to help and brings us the faces and words of some who need it.
What's in my hand is bills that are shortly getting ready to shut off.
His hands are full, revealing a frightening tale of survival.
What is your biggest fear?
that I might freeze to death because they're going to cut my power off.
That's the reality for Terrence DeWalt, an Army veteran and Cleveland resident. He's never had COVID-19, but he's just as much a victim of the pandemic, finding himself out of work and maybe out of answers.
I have no income coming in, and I'm not getting any help from any of these services.
From lights to heat, even a glass of water. Simple things we've come to expect are now at risk for thousands of our neighbors. Just how many? I pulled the records. For Cleveland's water department, almost 90,000 customers were behind on payments as of November 9th. For Cleveland Public Power, about 28,000 customers had a balance more than 30 days old. Now as moratoriums come to an end and many of these customers start applying for utility assistance, they'll find these systems are hard to navigate.
One of the biggest barriers is just being able to get in for an appointment, because especially right now, there's just a whole lot of need.
That's where United Way's 211 helpline comes into the picture, but even they are overwhelmed.
You've got thousands of people that are calling the same number at the same time to get an appointment scheduled. And, there only being a limited number of appointments available.
On 169. In April, the 211 helpline received about 1,000 calls for assistance with gas, electric, or water bills. By September, those calls had more than doubled.
Demand this time of year is always high, but this year, it's like nothing we've ever seen before.
And over in Lorain County, community service advocates are reporting the same struggles, especially from people who are new to the system.
Clients that have never, ever sought out assistance before.
People like Terrence DeWalt, whose hands are full and hope is waning.
All I'm doing now is asking for a little bit of assistance, and it's tough to get.
And if you're worried about paying your utility bills, I want to know about it. So email me at confidential@wkyc.com. And in the meantime, head to our website where you can download this guide, created by myself and other journalists from around the region, that highlights payment plans and other programs that are available for you. Rachel Polanski, 3 News.
Throughout the pandemic, many of us have relied on third parties to deliver takeout from restaurants. But in some cases, it hurt businesses more than it helped. Andrew Horansky explains how one community now plans to fix that.
When the pandemic struck, restaurants scrambled, turning to delivery apps such as Uber Eats, Grubhub, and DoorDash to stay afloat. But the reality is, it stung.
While we did get some sales, we gave it all back in terms of extra fees.
Rick Duty owns a Lindy's Lake House and says service charges can cost him as much as 30% per order, meaning if you spend $50 at Lindy's, he'd only get $35.
And it's difficult for us as small little restaurant guys to kind of to be able to make that business model work.
And why would they even try? Kevin Brassler, executive director of the nonprofit Consumers Checkbook Organization, believes many simply didn't have a choice.
Restaurants, they're using these services. They feel like they have to, because this is the only way to survive, is to participate with these services and pay in. The way around this is to make sure you're placing your order with your restaurant. Either call it in or use their own website to do it. All of your money goes to support that restaurant.
Well, tonight the city of Beechwood believes there may be another way too, confirming they're launching a new program called Beechwood Delivers next week, contracting drivers at $20 an hour to take meals from Beechwood's restaurants to its residents and businesses free of charge from 4 to 8 each night.
Their question was, how can we help? They called me out of the blue and said, how can we help?
Lindy's will be on the list, along with at least 7 others, including Hyde Park and Giovanni's, all in an effort that could keep costs down for everyone.
Tonight I spoke with the head of the Ohio Restaurant Association, who applauded the move, saying that the city of Dayton is actually planning something similar, showing how communities can pull together in tough times. I'm Andrew Horansky, 3 News.
Tonight, those 4 battleground states targeted by a Texas lawsuit to overturn the presidential election are firing back. 25 other states, including Ohio, have joined them, slamming the lawsuit. Attorney General Dave Yost filed a brief calling that suit dangerous and said, quote, "If there is anything more American than representative government, it is a firm conviction that the rules ought not be changed after the game has begun," end quote. 17 states and President Trump joined the Texas effort, asking the Supreme Court to invalidate millions of ballots. There is no precedent for this type of case, and there is no word on when or if the court will hear it. The justices could act quickly, like they did on Tuesday when they rejected a Pennsylvania lawsuit. They'll have their regular meeting tomorrow over the phone.
Well, it is official. Today, President-elect Joe Biden formally nominated Cleveland Congresswoman Marcia Fudge as the next Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. Fudge and other cabinet nominees are scheduled to be formally introduced tomorrow afternoon in Wilmington, Delaware.
Coming up tonight, the search for disinfectant wipes. We have an update on when you can expect store shelves to be fully stocked.
Plus, Hanukkah is now underway. A look at the celebrations and a refresher on what this Jewish festival of lights is all about. And Matt Standridge is in for Betsy tonight. Hi, Matt.
Hey, Sarah. It's good to see you. I have some good news for you. A south wind is slowly increasing tonight, and so we may only bottom out in some upper 40s, maybe some 30s here and there. But tomorrow, we're headed right back into the 50s, maybe a little bit of sun in the morning. But then our next system is arriving this weekend. We're going to break down your rain chances headed into your Saturday coming up.
What's Next is sponsored by Window Nation, online at windownation.com.
Let's get you in the loop tonight. The U.S. Space Force just welcomed its first recruits. The 7 graduates joined more than 400 Air Force members for the ceremony in San Antonio today. They are the first civilians to enlist in the newly created military branch and will be working on monitoring and maintaining satellites in Earth's orbit. The Space Force plans to add more than 300 recruits next year. It looks like Clorox wipes won't be fully stocked on store shelves until the middle of next year. A top Clorox executive says the company is producing more wipes than ever, but the demand is still incredibly high. This marks the 3rd time this year Clorox has pushed back the time frame. The company says it will make and ship 1.5 million packages of wipes daily by February. Another COVID shortage, cookies. Pepperidge Farm and its parent company, Campbell's Soup, says its cookie division is facing a series of supply constraints. It's especially affecting cookies with unique shapes like the Bordeaux or Chessman varieties. Pepperidge Farm has seen an increased demand for cookies for months now, up about 25%.
Hanukkah is underway tonight. You're seeing video of the lighting of the menorah at Pinecrest. Some showed up for the event, but it was also streamed on Facebook because of COVID-19 protocols. They will light that menorah nightly at 5:30 through December 17th. Of course, Hanukkah is known as the Jewish Festival of Lights and lasts for 8 days.
And 3 News photojournalist Kelly Matter sheds some light, on this celebration.
Hello everyone, I'm Tyler Sherman. I'm from Mentor, Ohio. We're going to be celebrating Hanukkah. Way back in the day, the Jews of Jerusalem had this gorgeous temple, and it got completely destroyed. The tradition of Hanukkah is 8 days because after the temple was destroyed, they found a small amount of oil, and this is before modern technology with candles. So they found a small amount of oil that they thought would last only 1 night. But to everyone's surprise, that small amount lasted 8 days, and they were actually able to rebuild the temple in that amount of time. So like Christmas is December 25th every year, no matter what. Everybody knows that. Hanukkah is on a different date each year, and that's because it follows the phases of the moon. We'll have the family over, small numbers. We'll light the candles. There's some prayers that we say. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam. We'll even get in a game of dreidel or 2. So dreidel, there are 4 sides to a dreidel. It's a spinning top. Nes, Gadol, Haya, Sham. And it stands for a great miracle happened there. The real thing that we're celebrating is the fact that we still get to do it, that we're still here, that we still get to have our traditions.
Well, we're certainly wishing everybody a happy Hanukkah. I know those celebrations are going to look a bit different this year, as all of our holidays have for sure.
Yeah, certainly. You know, Sarah, Matt Standridge comes to town, and on what is tomorrow, December 11th. It's going to be in the 50s. We're glad you came to town, Matt, for many reasons, including that.
trying to bring some warmer air to you, Russ. Russ and Sarah, I was just wanting to go back through some of the records just for this month so far. And today's sunshine that we had, it was in fact the sunniest day that we've had since December 2nd. That's 8 days ago. So it was nice to get a break out there a little bit earlier today. Hope you guys had a chance to enjoy some of that. As you're waking up tomorrow morning, we're going to have a south wind, and so it's going to be a mild start. A lot of us maybe right around the upper 30s, some low 40s, and we'll jump into the 50s by the afternoon. There'll probably be a little bit of sunshine in the morning, but then our next system is approaching this weekend. That means clouds will fill in for the rest of your Friday. So that'll change things quite a bit as you head into your Saturday and Sunday. Also, one more check on that aurora forecast. Once again, it seemed like the past couple of days, the solar storm that was coming in looked pretty intense at times. But once it finally hit our atmosphere and we're able to actually measure it, it came out a little bit weaker. So most of the northern lights that are happening tonight are going to take place in Canada, and they're going to be intense across Canada, but since it is a weaker storm, most of it will be just north of the US-Canadian border. Even if it was here in Northeast Ohio, which for a second it looked like we had a shot, right? We would have a hard time seeing it because we have some clouds developing right over Lake Erie, so when you try to look north anyways, it would be hard to see. There are a lot of clouds across the northern tier of the United States, so it had been hard to see anyways. But the other thing I want to show you is that we have a low pressure system just towards our south and west. It's in southern Colorado, northern New Mexico. You can see some snow and some rain with it. This is projected to head towards the Great Lakes. Now notice that arrow. It's a little bit west of us. That means the system center is going to be just west, which means we get the warmer side. We're probably going to get rain out of the system when it comes in for Saturday and Sunday. But this is kind of the next big weather maker that's going to be taking place across the United States. We'll just be on the warm side. Here's a little bit closer view at home. We have mostly clear skies right above our heads. Then once again, when you look north towards Lake Erie, that's where the clouds get pretty thick, and then those clouds are going to really thicken up throughout tomorrow, but I still think we'll get a little bit of sun early in the morning. Right now, temperatures are in the 40s right by the lakeshore, some 30s once you head a little bit further inland. A lot of us will be bouncing around some low 40s and upper 30s throughout the overnight hours, and then clouds will be on the increase. So when we're looking at that rush hour forecast, a little bit of sun in the morning, but then on that evening commute, it's probably going to be pretty cloudy. It'll be hard to really see the moon or any kind of stars out there, but at least we're going to get a high in the low 50s. That'll be pretty nice for your Friday, and maybe even some more 50s by Saturday. But that's when some rain starts to return. That's when our next system arrives. That's in the desert southwest right now, and it's going to be bringing rain for Saturday and a little bit Sunday too. I want to show you right now in the National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast. We're dry this evening, going the overnight hours. Tomorrow we're dry, but then we've skipped ahead to Saturday morning, 6 o'clock. Rain starts to move in from the west, and then your Saturday is going to look pretty wet, I think, pretty much all day long. It's going to be a light rain. It's not going to be heavy. We'll probably only pick up about a quarter of an inch, a half inch overall for most of us across Northeast Ohio. Here's your Ken Gailey Kia 10-day outlook. Guys, nice weekend ahead in terms of temperatures, some 50s, but then once that system pulls through, we're looking at a big cool down for most of next week. It's going to be hard for us to get out of the 30s. You do see some snow chances out there, but they're going to be pretty minimal every time you see that snowflake on that 10-day forecast, guys.
Okay, Matt, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Coming up, we are counting down the days until the Browns-Ravens round 2. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson breaks down that matchup. That's next.
This sports report is sponsored by the people-pleasing people at Serra Auto Park in Akron.
Great to welcome you back. Nick Camino in for Jimmy tonight. And I got to tell you, this upcoming Monday night, I think it's the most excited we've been for a Browns game in a long, long time. You got the Ravens coming to town, the bright lights of prime time with Monday Night Football, and loads of playoff implications when these two teams go at it. And I know we all remember what happened the last time these two teams clashed in Week 1, a 38-6 rout by Baltimore. And while I don't think we can ignore that, I also don't think we can ignore how much better this Browns football team is now compared to 13 weeks ago. I mean, they're red hot, they've improved, and yeah, they're taking it one game at a time.
We're truly singular focused. We know where we stand right now, but we know to get where we want to go, it's one game at a time. So excitement or not, it wouldn't matter. We have to play the Baltimore Ravens on Monday night, and we have to do our job.
Meanwhile, on the Ravens side of things, they come into this matchup with a record of 7-5 on the season. And while they are coming off that win against the Cowboys Tuesday, prior to that, they had dropped 4 of 5. Saying all that, Lamar Jackson still confident in his football team.
The first game, it was like, man, we got to go out here and just focus on our assignments, everyone do their job, And that's what we did. You know, we drove the ball down the field, we scored points, and that's what we got to do this Monday. You know, same thing, just focus. Everyone do their assignments. I feel we'll be good. You know, that's a great team we playing against.
Quick injury update on Browns cornerback Denzel Ward. He's missed time with that calf injury. He did not practice today in Berea, but Coach Stefanski told us he's hopeful that come Monday, Ward may be able to give it a go. All right, don't forget Monday night, Browns and Ravens. You can watch it right here on WKYC. Our pregame huddle gets started at 7 o'clock. Well, this past year must just feel like a whirlwind for Brown star defensive end Myles Garrett. I mean, this time last year, he was suspended for the rest of the season. He got a huge extension this year. He's played very well. He's dealt with COVID-19. It's been everything. But today, this was good news for him. He has been nominated as the team's 2020 Walter Payton Man of the Year award. The award recognizes the NFL's best players for their performance on the field and their dedication to the community. Cavaliers tip off the season, the preseason, I should say, on Saturday. The season will tip off 2 weeks from now, and I can't believe basketball's back. Why? Because they have not played since March in a competitive game. I mean, they're just itching to play somebody else other than themselves in practice, and Coach J.B. Bickerstaff said, yeah, they just want to play some games even if they don't count.
It's an opportunity for our guys to get a rhythm. You know, you can simulate games in practice all you want to, but when you put real officials out there, you put the time and score up there, you know, the game is different than it is in practice.
Can't believe that we are already getting ready for the NBA season. But Sarah, with all these adjustments this year and the NBA season restarting late, and now the Cavaliers are going to get a chance to play for the first time since March, it's pretty wild how long it's been, but it's going to be here before you know it.
It feels like the finals was like 5 minutes ago, but the Cavs, we haven't seen them in a while. So Saturday will be nice.
Yep.
All right, Nick, thanks.
Yeah, you got it.
When we come back tonight, how a local company is helping those on the front lines. Earlier today, a Strongsville and Akron medical startup made a big donation to the Cleveland Clinic. Nelderm donated 10,000 face shields to the hospital. The company specializes in developing unique bandages for those with fragile or sensitive skin. But during the pandemic, they have also turned to making FDA-authorized face shields for those on the front lines. Thanks to them. You know, we often end with this sign of hope, and tomorrow we may get a big one with this vaccine.
We certainly might. Of course, we'll have more on that tomorrow. Stay with us. Good night to all. We thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you for spending the evening with 3 News. Watch us live wherever you are, on our website, on our apps, and on YouTube, Hulu, or Roku. It's 3 News, wherever, whenever.